Hey yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile video. Today I've got a treat for you guys in the form of my Kuriboh deck. I built this deck with a competitive mindset, and for that sake I have found a really nice tech for y'all today that I just haven't seen in any other Kuriboh deck. I think it elevates this deck just that little bit more, and with a casual deck like this, the little bit it's so crucial. Anyways, with the competitive mindset thing being said, I will feel free to, towards the end of this video, explain my lack of choice in some cards that you might see in other Kuriboh lists. There are some cards that you just shouldn't be playing that I have seen in plenty of Kuriboh lists. And like I said, I built this with a competitive mindset. I'm trying to help you be able to win with your favorite deck. I will also feel free to talk about some cards that you could consider including in your Kuriboh lists. If you don't like some of the ratios of the cards that I'm playing and feel like you could be playing less of them, go ahead. Feel free to remove them and add the cards that I list towards the end. I'm just trying to give you some guidelines to help you top one of your first events with your favorite deck. Anyways, without further ado, let's get straight into the deck profile. Starting off, of course, with 2 of the original Kuriboh. We're not playing this at 3 because it definitely clogs your hand. You still want in the deck for cards like Flute Summoning Kuriboh and 5-star Twilight can summon it out of the deck, but you don't really want to be drawing this card. That is actively not what you want to be doing. So I am only playing it at 2 instead of 3. Anyways, moving on to the Kuriboh brothers. I'm opting to play 3 Kuriboh. I can understand you only playing 1, but he has the effect that whenever your opponent's monster declares an attack, you discard this card to search your deck for a Kuriboh monster and add it to your hand. I find that effect to be quite versatile. If you feel like you're going to be losing this turn, you can feel free to, on your opponent's attack, if they're attacking with their big monster first, you can feel free to search for the original Kuriboh. Fun fact, because Kuriboh is on attack declaration, you can still meet the timing requirement to activate Kuriboh on the same attack. If your opponent did not attack with their biggest monster first, you can feel free to search for a Rainbow Kuriboh, as you cannot use it on the same attack, but it is strictly better than Kuriboh, so you can just Rainbow Kuriboh down their bigger monster whenever they do attack with it. If you don't feel like you're going to be dying that turn, you can feel free to search for either Kuriboh, which can monster reborn a monster that got destroyed by battle that turn, or you can search for Astral Kuriboh, which can summon itself for free as a level 1 or a level 5 monster, allowing you to use 5-star Twilight again if your opponent wiped your whole board. I think this card has neat versatility and is nice for the grind game, so I opted to play it at 3. Again, you can feel free to play it at 1 if you choose to do so. Versatility, however, is not something that can be said for the last 3 Kuriboh brothers. They have effects that belong back in like 2002 to 2010. Kuriboh and Kuriboh have the shared activation condition of if this or another Kuriboh monster you control is destroyed by battle, this one can search for a Kuriboh spell, this one can search for a Kuriboh monster, and Kuriboh is 100 attack point stronger Clute in a deck full of 300 attack point monsters. Needless to say, you run these because you have to, not because you want to. After that, we are playing 3 copies of Astral Kuriboh. It is your best play starter in the whole deck. Well, it's not a play starter, but it's the best Kuriboh monster for combo lines. It just summons itself as either a level 1 or a level 5, so it just gives you options, which is something that's really, really nice to have. Next up, I'm playing 3 of this. You can choose to play 1. 3 is fine for the grind game, but I can understand only wanting 1. Kuriboh has the hand trap effect that at the end of the battle phase, you can monster reborn one of the monsters that were destroyed by battle this turn. And then it has the graveyard effect that whenever your opponent's monster declares an attack, you can feel free to banish this card from the graveyard to special summon as many Kuriboh monsters from your graveyard as possible. That is really nice for getting back into the game if your opponent wiped your whole board. And then for the last Kuriboh monster itself, it's searchable, so we're only playing 1 of it. Rainbow Kuriboh. Basically, whenever your opponent's monster declares an attack, you can feel free to just equip this card from your hand to it, and it locks it down permanently. Your opponent can just destroy this card on the field and then be able to use said card again. so do keep that in mind. Anyways, for the remainder of the monsters, we got Triple Skilled Brown Magician. Whenever you activate a spell card, you can put a spell counter on this card. Then, once per turn, you can remove a spell counter from this card in which to activate one of its two following effects. Either add a Kuriboh monster or multiply from your deck to your hand, or to increase this card's level to 5. The latter of the two effects, increasing its level, more specifically, says increase it by, I believe, increase its level by 1 and gain 1,500 attack. The modulating its level effect comes up for 5-star Twilight, but it will only ever come up if you activate a spell card that does not summon a monster. We are playing 2 of those, each at 3 copies, so you have 6 cards out of your 40-card deck that can trigger that while still being useful for 5-star Twilight. If you cannot use that for 5-star Twilight, it's only useful if you're explicitly trying to make your rank 5 have 3 material. That's the only time that rank 5 is really good, so... other than that, Searching Multiply is a fantastic effect. It turns your 1 Kuriboh monster into 5 Kuriboh monsters. It is genuinely really useful when paired with a card like 5-star Twilight to initially summon the 5 Kuriboh brothers, then you can link off 4 of them into Appaloosa, and then multiply your 1 Kuriboh back into 5, and then you have the 5 material again. It is genuinely really useful. Then continuing on with the monster lineup, we have... the 2 Link Slayer. It's just a free level 5 special summon if you control no monsters. And then once per turn, you can discard up to 2 cards and then destroy that many spell and trap cards on the field. Chances are, if you're activating this, your opponent's going to be responding with those spell trap cards. So if you feel like baiting those out, go ahead and do so. Otherwise, you can choose to hold off on this to make your opponent not proc it immediately, then try to 5-star Twilight into and out for said back row. You can do that way too. Anyways, the last level 5 extender monster, we have Red-Haired Hasty Horse. This is basically useless going second, but going first, you can summon it literally every time. If you're not summoning it every time going first, you did something wrong. I'm not sure how you messed up that badly, but you did. But yeah, anyways, that's it for all the main deck monsters. It's time to get on to the spells. Starting off with Triple 5-star Twilight. It has the effect that when, if the only monster you control is a single level 5 monster, you contribute that monster to summon the 5 Kuriboh brothers from the deck. Hence the reason why I was playing the level 5 extenders. It's really good for just getting link material for different extra deck plays. And yeah, I was about to move them away, but anyways, next up, Triple Multiply. It happens to be a quick play spell, which is neat, I guess. You can pair it with like Flute of Summoning Kuriboh as a defensive play, but you probably want to use this more aggressively, as it has the effect that you contribute a Kuriboh you control in which to special summon as many Kuriboh tokens as possible, which is really nice. It replenishes all of your material. Like I said, this plus 5-star Twilight is an instant... I mean, I guess if we're counting the 5-star monster as 1 material, then technically this is only plus 8 in terms of material, but it's really nice. And then, yeah, Flute of Summoning Kuriboh. It's also a quick play spell for some reason, but it can also choose to add the Kuriboh from your hand, but most of the to your hand, but most of the time you're choosing to special summon it to the field. They're both quick plays, so I guess you could technically, whenever your opponent's monster declares an attack, special summon it out and then multiply it. You can choose to do so, but I don't know. It's a technical thing you can do, but if you had both, you should have used both on your last turn, unless if you for some reason needed to save the materials for your next turn. Anyways, the next spell, sorry, I got a call there for 2 seconds. Anyways, next up, Triple Pot of Prosperity. No, I do not own this card. I will borrow it whenever I go to tournaments with this deck, but it's like a $45 card right now. I don't feel like buying 3 copies. I will feel free to do so once the Rarity Collection comes out, though. Getting a super rare copy of that is super nice. Anyways, in a deck in which that you're trying to dig for a specific card, like 5-star Twilight and or Multiply, this is really nice. It's genuinely fantastic for just trying to find your combo cards and hopefully pop off like that. Next up, the 1 Instant Fusion. It can summon a level 1 or a level 5 monster. Both happen to have good effects, actually. And then 1 for 1. You can summon a Kuriboh from your deck if you need to multiply it, or you can summon Kuriboh if you plan on linking it off, and then you have its graveyard effect for your opponent's battle phase. And then time for my spicy tech. You've seen this plenty of times before, but never quite like this. We're playing the Dark... we're playing Opening the Spirit Gate package with Dark Summoning Beast as opposed to the Chaos one. The reason that I'm playing it with this is, of course, with the extra normal summon you get from Dark Beckoning Beast, you can tribute over it, and then this would be the only monster you control, being a level 5 monster. But also, the reason that this engine is neat is because you can also activate Opening the Spirit Gate's second effect, in which to discard a card to special summon a Fiend with 0 attack and 0 defense straight out of your graveyard. So it's 2 level 5 monsters on your first turn. The first one, of course, you're using for 5-star Twilight, and the one after that you're using for any form of rank 5 or Link plays. And then, after your first turn, it is 1 level 5 monster on every turn that you can keep this on the board. So if you happen to draw into 5-star Twilight, you can bring back the Dark Summoning Beast and then 5-star Twilight. It just helps give you some insurance. I think this is a really nice engine for this deck, and I haven't seen anybody else really try to do this, and I think it works out pretty well, actually. You can feel free to let me know what you think about it down in the comments below. Anyways, my cards felt like shuffling themselves because I laid them out wrong. But let's get straight into the extra deck. I think this is where the deck falters the most, and I will explain that here in just a moment. First off, the 2 instant fusion targets. Millennium Ice Restrict helps with hand traps, and this should be Invoked Raijin, not Panzer Dragon. I just happen to not have one on me. Invoked Raijin is a quick effect Book of Moon, so it's useful going second. And yeah, the level 1, level 5, you can use either or. Now for the required number exceed monsters, we've got number 54, Lionheart. You could also do the 1 Cosmo that also requires 3 monsters, but I think Lionheart is just better for this deck, and I'll explain why here in a bit. Next up, Paradise Smasher, undisputably the best generic rank 5, which is one of the main issues with this deck, is that there's no good generic rank 1 or rank 5s. You'll notice that neither of these are particularly insane cards or anything like that, and that is one issue with this deck. Anyways, let's keep going. Yeah, Paradise Smasher you only really want to summon with 3 materials, as it guarantees its effect to work in your favor, locking down their fields. Next up, 2 Link Kuriboh. You kind of need this to pair with Multiply, in which to turn that into Link plays. So, yeah, you can feel free to run 3 if you're scared of, like, one of them getting banished. But you can feel free to find a card to cut for that. I don't know. I was struggling. And then Relinquished Anima is just fantastic going second. Suck up on an opponent's monster if they're being careless. Next up, Dark and Lina. If you can play them, you do play them. I mean, I guess you could cut one of them for the 3rd Link Kuriboh, but I would definitely at least keep Dark. But yeah, these are the 2 best Charmer Link monsters, so you do generally want to play them. Good stuff, Cameron. Good stuff. I just pimp slapped my tripod. Anyways, for the Masquerana line, Masquerana, Phoenix, Unicorn, and Underworld Goddess. Yeah, it's just an additional form of interruption. Playing Goddess, because if you can have the spare material, even that 1 extra interruption is so helpful for this deck. And then I guess I'll just show off the last 2. That 1 extra interruption is so extremely helpful. This deck struggles with the fact that there isn't there isn't generic extra deck monsters that can play that are good for interruption. If y'all can think of any, feel free to comment down below what a couple of them are. I would love to pin your comment just to help people out. I'm playing Boral Sword Dragon as opposed to something like Access Code, because Access Code will not be able to get you to swing for game with this deck. You can swing for game if you pair Boral Sword with like Lionheart, That's a decent way to swing for game. But yeah, this deck struggles at swinging for game, so I opted to put Laurel Sword in as opposed to something like Access Code, even though both are very good. Now, the couple of cards I was going to talk about that I opted to not play in the deck, I was going to talk about two. One you might have thought of more than the other. Like one of these you would have really thought of earlier, like a lot, and been like, you didn't list this. The first one I'm going to say is Dystopia. It's like, it's a Link 5 that you have to play in your main deck, isn't worth 5 Link rating, and it doesn't have good protection. It's just a 5k beat stick. Just summon Boral Sword instead. It doesn't clog your hand and makes it to where you, drew that instead of like a 5-star Twilight or something. Plus, Boral Sword hits more monsters. It does more damage in the end. It can quick effect switch something to defense mode. It's so much better than something like Dystopia. You just summon him instead, please. Don't play Dystopia. Another person in the same boat is Curry Babylon. If you summon him the way that the deck intends, he's just a 3k beater with literally 0 effects. Dystopia is better than that. If you summon him with his own effects, you're literally never going to be able to summon him going second. And going first, you still struggle if your opponent hand traps you even once. Even then, he requires cards to be in your graveyard, so, you're going to still struggle to 5-star Twilight if you get cards in your graveyard, because it requires you to have only the one monster. He works so counterintuitively with how you want to play this deck. It is insane. Do not play Curry Babylon. Just summon an extra deck monster instead. Anyways, I was going to list some cards you can feel free to play in the deck. I'll start off with some main deck options. You could feel free to play Where Art Thou? If you control a level 1 monster, you can add a level 1 monster from your deck to your hand. Then if you do not summon that monster this turn, take 2k. You can feel free to search for Astral Kuriboh or anything else you really feel like searching right now. If you do not happen to open 5-star Twilight, this is of course a good option, but even if you do, you can feel free to use the 5-star Twilight stuff first, then feel free to search for something like I was saying, Astral Kuriboh, or you could search for like Kuriboh or Rainbow Kuriboh or anything else. Another good choice is Foolish Burial, as you can feel free to dump either the Kuriboh, or whenever you do Opening the Spirit Gates, you can search your Dark Beckoning Beast, but then you could Foolish Burial the Dark Summoning Beast, and then just use the second effect of Opening of the Spirit Gates to pitch this, summon this back, and then you still have your normal summon, and can already 5-star Twilights. I think both of these options are pretty good. And then an extra deck engine you could play to feel free to play is the Ghost Trick engine. You can feel free to do the rank 1 Ghost Trick and pair it up with the two. I'm trying to think of what her name is. It's the rank 4 that just searches a Ghost Trick card on summon. Anyways, you use the you summon the one. Rank 1, then rank up into the rank 4, because the rank 4 has the effect to summon itself on top of any Ghost Trick Exceed monster. You detach the one material, search your main deck for Ghost Trick Shot, then Shot bring back the rank 1, and summon the other rank 4 on top of it, then you make UFD, Utopic Future Draco. It takes 5 extra deck slots, which you could do using, if you remove Instant Fusion, you could remove 1 or even 2 of the Charmers, maybe a Relinquished Anima, and then like Underworld Goddess. You could do that, in which to add this engine. Another thing I should have mentioned earlier, in order to turn Multiply into a Boral Sword Dragon, I'll go through how to do that real quick. You first activate Multiply, sacking the Kuriboh, then you summon back the 2 Link Kuribohs. using 2 of those tokens because they just require level 1 monsters. Then use the 1 Link Kuriboh and 1 of the tokens to make Nightmare Phoenix, as it just requires monsters with different names. Then use Link Kuriboh's graveyard effect to tribute 1 of the tokens, summons itself back, and then Boral Sword just requires 3 effect monsters, not 3 with different names. Anyways, I think that's all the comments I had to say about this deck. Anyways, if you all enjoyed the video, please leave a like. If you all are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Is there any other deck profiles you all would like me to do next? I do have like 7 or 8 of them lying around that I've been wanting to do. Anyways, I'll see you all later. Bye.